It's weird being a kid. I mean, I'm 17, but that still feels like a kid. Do you remember that first moment when you realized your parents were normal people? I'll always remember the moment when I figured out that my dad was a man, and not just a dad. It's not a moment I want to relive, that's for sure. When I was 16, money had gotten really tight. My mom struggled with depression, so wasn't able to hold down a regular job. She would work somewhere for a while until she had what we called an episode. An episode was basically where she would get so down, stop talking to people, crawl into bed, and only come out for food or to go to the washroom. She got these funks about every 6 months, and they all lasted for different times. The longest one was 8 months, and that was awful. My dad had to do everything, and I could see he was super lonely and overwhelmed. I secretly wondered if he regretted marrying my mom. What kind of life could it have been for him? The only time I talked to my dad about it, he said that when he met my mom, she was nothing like she is now, and that she was happy and full of life. It was so hard for me to picture my mom like that. I had seen old pictures, and she definitely looked happy and healthy in all of them. But then, who doesn't look happy and healthy in old pictures? Anyway, my mom was in one of her funks, and as patient as her boss was, when she didn't show up to work for the second week in a row, a phone call came into the house saying she didn't need to bother coming back the following week either. My dad was worried. It was an expensive time. I was just about to graduate from high school and had applied to colleges. Tuition was pricey, and I had no idea how we were going to afford it. My dad always just said, "We'll find a way," when I tried to talk to him about it. I was at a friend's one Saturday night for a sleepover. I was so happy to be out of my sad house. Carly's house was happy and loud, and that was a nice break from my sad, quiet house. We were playing around on the internet when we came across this guy's site that we knew from school. At first, we didn't know what it was, so we clicked on something. And suddenly, there he was, in tiny undies dancing around his room. This guy sat right behind me in math class, and I was shocked, to say the least. As we were watching, we figured out that it seemed like some kind of live show. There was a chat window on the right-hand side of the screen, and viewers were weighing in with their comments and likes. He danced like that for a half an hour, and once the music ended, he came up close to the camera and said, "Thanks for tuning in. You know what to do if you liked what you saw and want to see more." I was shocked to see that a lot of the comments were about sending him money so he would come back, or so he would do more or different things. I couldn't believe how much it looked like he was making. I had decided to talk to him the next day at school. Maybe this was the answer I was looking for. Mark had always been super open and friendly to me, so I didn't feel too weird asking about what I'd seen. When I saw him at his locker the next day, I waited till the people right next to him had left. I walked up to him acting all cool and nonchalant and said, "Hey, what's up? I think I saw you last night." "Oh yeah?" he said. "Where?" "On Carly's computer," I said. He was definitely taken aback, but recovered quickly. He said, I knew someone from school would see me on there at some point. I just didn't think it would be so quick." I asked him how long he had been doing it for, and he said only a month. He told me that an older friend had introduced him to it. He said it was called being a cam guy or a cam girl if you were a girl and did things in front of a camera to be aired online. I asked him how much he made, and he said each time was different. He said it seemed like every time he did it, he made more money. I think it's because I'm getting return customers, and the more used to me they get, the more they pay to see more. He said that on the video I had watched alone, he had made $500. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't even wrap my mind around making that kind of money in just half an hour. I thought about how much that money could help us and how much pressure it would take off my dad if I could pay for my own college education, or at least most of it. I asked Mark if he thought I could do it. He flattered me with his reaction. "Hell yeah, have you looked at yourself in the mirror?" I pondered that for a moment. I hadn't really ever thought of myself as attractive or not. I hadn't really thought about it. I was tall, had long legs, and a bob haircut. I knew I had a nice figure, but had never thought of myself as pretty. I asked him if he could come over next week to help me get all set up and show me the ropes. He said the computer I had in my room would work just fine, so really, all I needed to do was decide what I was willing to do, and more importantly, not do for the money. I had returned home that day feeling like I had a plan and feeling good about it. I definitely wasn't one who enjoyed being the center of attention, but for this, I could take it. I was late getting a paper into my social class and had to get it done and printed that night to be handed in the next day. My dad's computer had a printer in his office, so I asked him if I could type it up on his computer and print it off. My writing program was acting glitchy on my computer, and I didn't want to risk losing it the night before it was due. He said of course I could, but not to forget that there was some problem with the printer or keyboard or whatever it was, and the R's never came through on the printed pages. Ugh, I grumbled. Great. Well, it was too late to head down to the library and the paper was due first thing, so no R's it would have to be. I quickly finished it, typed it up, did my grammar and spell check, and printed it off. There were indeed a blank space everywhere an R should be. Oh well, I thought, at least it's done. A few days later, it was the big reveal night. Mark had come over after my dad had gone to work, and my mom was, of course, sleeping in her darkened room. I brought him into my room and had him choose which outfit he thought would be the best. Between a white lace nightie and a corset, lace undies, garters, and stockings. He chose the latter. I was a little shy to put it on in front of him, but he said, "Hey, if you can't wear it with confidence in front of me, how are you going to do it in front of the camera?" He had a point. I put it on, accepted his cat calls, and strutted around until I felt more confident and comfortable. When he connected me to his page and asked me if I was ready, I said, "Ready as I'll ever be." He did a quick greeting, introduced me, hit play on my music speaker already set up with the music I wanted to dance to, and moved off to the side. I danced my way in front of the camera and was surprised at how sexy and confident I felt. I hadn't even had sex yet, but felt like I looked like I had. At first, it was just silence and I was feeling disappointed. But after 5 minutes, I could hear people chiming in and commenting. I kept trying to read the comments as they came in, but it was messing up my dance moves. Towards the end of my number, Mark had suggested keeping it to a half hour. I could no longer resist and had to see what everyone was commenting. Did they like it? Not like it? I had to know. I tried to make it look intentional as I leaned closer to the computer screen. There was one person that seemed to keep commenting over and over again. I honed in on their comments, and when I saw that the R was missing on all the comments, I stopped dead in my tracks. Mark mouthed, "What's up?" My face said it all. And he said a quick goodbye and told people how to support this new hot cam girl. I pulled my clothes on in a mad rush and crept down the hall towards my dad's office. I didn't even have to push the door open. It swung wide open, and my dad was standing there with a look that was both anger and shock. As it turns out, my dad watched me in my private cam show. To watch more animated story videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And tell us in the comments section what you thought about this story.